zero concerns about that.
I think what this does is I've had concerns after the AAA.
Well, right.
And
but these 4 innings, I mean,
this solidifies those concerns.
He could have came out and struck out 12 in the 4 innings, and then what are you calling him? Babe Ruth, the pitcher. But it's like, if anything, if there's cause for concern, it's how he pitched at AAA. Which at AAA, I mean, he wasn't god awful. He still struck out, basically 10 per 9, didn't walk the farm, just gave up some more hits, and we don't know. We don't dive. It could have been unlucky, could have been Babe it, but it wasn't like he was getting crushed out there. I mean, three home runs he gave up in 52 innings, 4.82 ERA.
And he finished out the season strong, actually, too, in AAA.
Right. So, it could have just been the adjustment when he came from AA to AAA. There is a little, bit of an adjustment. And, seems like hopefully he settled it down. He was still striking out, 10 per 9. So that's good to see. So, and these guys, like I said, it's spring training. It's their first appearances of the spring. I'm not buying any. I just don't put any weight into it. So he's going to go back to AAA regardless. I don't know why these people get so shocked that, like, the Pirates are going to send guys to AAA. They're going to want to see 100, probably, who knows how many this year, but at least 100 innings total, 120, and he had 50-some last year. So he was going back. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see how he is once the AAA season hits, and, hopefully he puts that spring behind him, which I don't think he's harping on, So really, I don't think he's going to walk six. I don't think he's going to walk 6.8 hitters all of a sudden in 9 innings.
I hope he's not giving up 10 hits per 4 innings pitched either.
Or that. So yeah.
I hope guys aren't batting 476 on him.
Yeah, that 22.5 hits per 9. Yeah, I don't.
Right.
I don't think that'll happen at AAA. So I'm not freaking out like a lot of people are on that, but it's Yinzer, so you have to freak out. So let's talk about that 5th rotation spot. So basically what? Kingham, Lyles, Brault. Yeah, none of them are pitching well, DiNardo. Brault has a 9 ERA in 6 innings. Lyles has a 5 ERA, and then so does Kingham, a 5 ERA, and they both have 9 innings. So now Kingham looked a lot better in his last outing against the Red Sox of all, and it was like there wasn't no backups for the Red Sox. It was like a lot of their.
It was the World Series team minus like JD Martinez. So
right. So he I think he was like four shutout innings that he had against them. So
yep.
And that's good to see. Again, it's spring training. I mean, it's tough to put too much stock into it, but like you said, these guys are also fighting basically for the rotation spot. So, I don't know. Who do you like at this point? Are you leaning Kingham? Because I think that's the way I'm leaning.
I am. So, North Shore 9 live this Thursday. We talked a little bit about this. Hirsch and I, which, by the way, definitely, if you're listening, go follow them. All head, no fake. Go listen to that podcast. 2 really cool dudes talking some Pirates and NBA. So if you're a fan of the NBA, they talk NBA as well. But we were talking about this, and the thing is, like, I don't think there's probably a whole lot of separation between Lyles and Kingham. I think Kingham probably is better. I think Kingham should have like the inside track. But what I'll say is, I don't think maybe Kingham is just like head over heels better than Lyles as a starter, right? And I think that's safe to say. But I guess if you flip it, right? So like say if Lyles does get the number 5 spot, Kim goes in the bullpen. I personally think, and Hirsch said this as well, I think Lyles, there's a bigger gap in who could be a better reliever. I think Lyles could be a better reliever than Kingham.
Right.
So to me, I feel like Kingham should get the number 5. I mean, he's a starter. He can go deep. I still believe like in his talent. And it's funny because like last year was the same. Like this spring, it's like all over again. Like he just has these outings where he looks horrible, but then he has these outings where he looks brilliant. And if he can just put it together and get consistent, that's certainly what he needs. Lyles, I just feel like, when we signed him, we talked about like this is a great signing for the bullpen. And then you're hearing these things come out like, well, he's got the inside track. You're looking at him to be a starter. You're like, wait a minute, what?
Right.
So I hope, and personally for myself, and that Red Sox outing gave a little bit of boost of confidence. Like I feel like it would be best if Kingham was at 5 and Lyles was into the bullpen.
Yeah, and I'm with you there. And Brault, I think, is more, and we've seen it from him, he can kind of do both. He could be a spot starter, but basically might just be that long lefty relief out of the pen. And it was funny, like, so, Brault's problem last year was he walked a lot of guys, and 4 walks already in 6 innings this year. Gave up 9 hits. Like, he's just it's not looking too good.
Which just sorry to counter that too. Like, his first outing was so nice. I mean,
yeah,
I think he threw like, I want to say like 80%, almost like 90% like strikes in that outing.
Right.
I think he only threw like 3 balls or something. I mean, he was just pounding the strike zone. So, like you said, how the walks were an issue. That was very encouraging. But then now, I don't know.
So maybe DiNardo. You know what I'm leaning? I'm leaning to go sign Keuchel and just profit. Just sign him for the 5th rotation spot. Forget this King of Lyles Brock stuff. And there you go. Do that. So he's still out there.
What about Gio Gonzalez? What are your thoughts on him?
At that point, I don't know. I mean, do you really want Gio? Maybe on a 1-year deal, low risk, whatever. But I feel like if you're putting Gio in there, you might as well just go put Kingham in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not too high on 33-year-old Gio Gonzalez.
So you feel like if you're going to, I guess, kind of like if you're going to upgrade, go big or go home?
Yeah, right. Like, yeah. Okay. And I love the people that are like, no, but you can't go sign, Keuchel to a multi-year deal because Keller's coming up. Well, like I said, we just talked about Keller struggled in AAA. Keller struggled in 4 innings, whatever, in spring. But maybe the kid isn't ready. Like, maybe he isn't the 1 or 2 or 3 that we think he is. So, and maybe somebody else falters. So go get Keuchel, and things will work out. If Keller comes up and you pitch him enough and he's good, then trade somebody.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good problem to have. So it just cracks me up when they're like, oh, well, you can't go get Keuchel because, who are they going to pitch? They're going to have too many pitchers once Keller's here in July. It's like, well, maybe Keller struggles this year in AAA, and then you're really screwed if Kingham and Lyles and everybody's, struggling, and nobody looks to take that rotation spot. So, again, you have 4 pretty good starters that you feel pretty good about, but the 5th spot could be a disaster at this point.
So, it could be, yeah.
So
that's a real cause of concern. It certainly is.
Yeah, it's really concerning, and I mean, you didn't go out and get anybody, and you have money to spend, I think. So I don't know. I still think I would go and, like I said, Gio on a 1-year deal would make, I guess, sense because whether Kela comes up this year and is good or what. I mean, you could always work around that. But Gio for 1 year, it's not a big deal, and you have more of a proven pitcher in there, a veteran. But Keuchel, even if you sign him to a 3-year deal, say, like, things will work out. Like, if somebody's killing it, if they're all killing it, then you trade somebody, and you probably pull in something else that you need. So, I'm worried about the 5th rotation spot at this point. I'm hoping that Kingham can handle it. Just like you said, I don't think Lyles at this point you want to see him in the rotation more as kind of a middle of the bullpen arm, but. Yeah, Brault, I don't think that's any good in the rotation for a long period of time. So I think at this point it's Kingham's to lose, and I'm not even sold on that. So,
well, let me pose you a few questions.
All
right, because I think this is these are valid. This is maybe where the Pirates' heads are at and such. You make a good point, like with Gio, and I think it's fair to say that if he gets signed, it's going to be a 1-year deal. I don't think he's going to get a multi-year deal. So obviously, if Gio gets signed, it's going to be 1 year's. But I think the issue, too, is like how you're saying, like, is he really separating himself from the other people? I don't know. Because, we talked about this before. Like, the Pirates are really, like, at a roster crunch. We say, like, they have a large collection of talent. Now, the talent's average and mediocre, but there's a lot of it. So, right. It's going to make a lot of roster decisions. So, if you added Gio, then it's like, you're probably saying, see you later, Brault. I don't think you can say, Kingham. And, say what you say, want about Brault, but, like, he is a player. He's under control, but there's not enough room on this roster to have all these pitchers. So I think it's like safe to say, like, if you went and got a Gio, I don't think you're dumping Lyles. You're not dumping Kingham. The way that like Liriano's pitching, and of course he is a lefty, it seems like they want him to be in there too. I don't know if you're not like, are you going to keep Brault over Liriano? I don't know. So like I feel like if you're doing that, you're losing Brault. And it's like, I think that's in their head. Like, is it worth it? Like, is Gio really that much of a upgrade to warrant just losing Brawl, per se? And I think the other thing is with Keuchel, I think you're right. I don't know if he's really at a 1-year situation at this point in time.
Right.
And it's like, I feel like if he is, he's going to have to at least get the qualifying offer that he turned down. Like, it's like, if you're going to give me a 1-year deal, it's probably like a 1 year, $16 million. Or I need a multi-year, year deal, which probably at this point is 3 years. But I think in that sense, there's like some concern. A 3-year deal for a guy that, is barely hitting 90 miles an hour in this day and age. And he hasn't trended well. So, 2 years ago in 2017, he had a nice bounce back season. Because in 2016, he was not so good, Ryan. 4.55 ERA.
But a better
his
FIP.
strikeouts went
down. I think a lot of that was BABIP. He had his peripherals were pretty good. His FIP was 3.87.
Right, and you are true, but then in 2017 he bounced back 2.9 ERA, but last year 3.74. When we look at the peripherals, they're all about the same, but his strikeouts are still declining. His walk rate is going up. He is 31 years old. He throws 90 miles an hour. Isn't there a little bit of cause concern too? Like, do we even really do we want to give Keuchel 3 years in that type of contract?
I think it depends on the actual dollar amount for those 3 years. But his walk rate actually went down. Per 9 last year went from 2.9 to 2.6. Home runs were about the same. His hits went up again. But look at his FIP the past 4 years.
You're right.
His FIP his whole career: 3.21, 2.91, 3.87, 3.79, 3.69. It's basically been the same the past 3 years. Peripherals have been the same, except for, I think, just some hits, some BABIP. And that's pitching in Houston, which, I don't know. Now people are telling me Houston's in the pitching park, so I can't keep up. But
it's not a pitching park.
To me,
but
it's
a pitching organization.
Right. So,
well, that's the other caveat I want to say to this, Ryan. I'm sorry, but I just have to point this out. Do you feel, this is not like stats driven, anything like that, but do you feel almost like concerned that like the Houston Astros, who could use a pitcher, aren't even really pursuing Keuchel? He was with the Astros. His price has clearly dropped. The Astros could use some pitching.
Yeah, but the Astros,
they're not even like in on him per se.
Yeah, but the Astros also have like some pretty good pitching prospects coming up. They do. Josh James apparently is already going to be in the rotation, or he's fighting for that spot. They have what's their big prospect that they've pitched for?
But Ryan, that's so what you're saying is true. But think about this too: they lose Cole and Verlander this year, or actually after this year. You know what I mean? So like Keuchel still lines up. They could have Forrest and Josh James, kind of chilling for a little bit, or making some starts up here. Like Keuchel could still fit into the future because they still need pitching after this year. The fact that they've seen him, they know exactly what he is, and they're not even retaining him right now. That's a little bit like a red flag in my eyes. Again, because it also is the Houston Astros. This is apparently the pitching gurus right now. If you're a pitcher, you want to go to Houston because you're just going to turn to a Cy Young winner, a la Dallas Keuchel. But that's like a little bit, like I said, nothing stats, nothing. Just that makes me ponder and wonder, why is Houston, why have they not signed him at this point in time? Why is that marriage not together?
Unless he's just holding out for some ridiculous deal, and the Astros are like, we're not paying you that much, goodbye. But at this point, he's still a free agent, so it's who knows what he's, maybe his price tag is just way high, and he is just shooting for the moon,
and he's just not budging, kind of like, oh God. The reliever, the $100 million arm.
Oh, Kimbrel.
Kimbrel, yeah. So much like Kimbrel, you're saying.
Sign him
I
too.
guess that's
bring
fair
him
to
in.
say.
Just bring him in. Bring Keuchel and Kimbrel in. We'll be all right. No, I get it's a valid point. I just and maybe Gio on a 1-year deal does make a lot more sense. And who knows? Maybe maybe that's why he's not signed either. He's looking for a 2-year deal and no one wants to give it to him. So I don't know. But at this point, would I feel safer this year with Keuchel or Gio Gonzalez instead of Kingham or Lyles? Yes. And no, I'm not worried about, what do we do with Keller in July? It's just things work itself out.
Yeah.
And if you have 6 good starting pitchers, that's good.